intro! Hi, Brianna! I'm just gonna stand here and blow because I didn't want to be awkward. That's a humidifier for the band room because they want the instruments to stay humidity. And it reminded me of when I was little because when I was little because I had to have a humidifier because I had asthma from bronchitis or something like that. I was not a good child. I was sick. Which reminds me, I'm sick right now. I think I woke up and not feeling good, but I took medicine, so. Yay. Maybe I just have to shut you up to make you be PG.
I love Lion King and the Teletubbies. They do though. Haven't you seen the Teletubbies? Like the ones get like going.
I'm not leaving my ravioli here. Are you crazy?
You made house without eating that. Eat for you, girl.
I'm sick and I already touched it.
Wasn't spit in your face. Mono.
Are you still in? No, you're not.
I'm contagious for like a year.
Stay away. Am I on my face? Like, she's like watching me through the screen that displays what you're recording, and she's like,
I tap that.
You're not PG.
Without any clothes on.
Maybe I should just leave this on the internet. So, do like one motion.
It's looking at me.
Okay, so do one motion. Like, do the thumbs up really slow so I can test it out. Okay, now freeze. Do you think you can hold it there for a second? Your face. That was real slow. It was about like 1.5 seconds. Well, I can play with that anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna multitask and clean the table so we're ready for dinner and talk to you about something that just happened. I apologize for the mascara all over my face. This afternoon I finished reading The Fault in Our Stars. We'll talk about that later. So, I was just on YouTube watching a... You surprised at my fast talking? Oh, there's water on the floor. Okay. So, I was just on YouTube and looking at new videos from the people I'm subscribed to, Fork, and Nice Peter 2, link here. Yeah, Nice Peter 2. He is really good at singing and making music, and he just kind of makes like cute things that kind of remind me of like, like kind of chill, like soft rock 90s, almost like jazz standardish kind of stuff. Well, it's not old, but it's like that chill kind of rock style from the 90s. Kind of like, sort of like Uncle Cracker, I want to say. I don't know. I don't really want to compare him to anyone because he's kind of unique, and he makes epic rap battles, which I have yet to listen to more than 2 of because I've just been busy and haven't watched his videos in a long time. But I really like his music, and I really like his videos. He makes really good, fun videos called The Monday Show. He makes Mondays a lot more bearable. So today being Monday, of course, there was a new video up, and it was him, and he responds to comments from his viewers. And the comment was, I was watching your videos because I just broke up with my girlfriend. Can you write a sad love song? So he did, and he posted it, and I was listening to this song, and I thought, wow, you've done it again. This song is amazing. So I go down to the bottom where there's a link to download, and unfortunately, it was not a free download, and I am out of iTunes money at the moment, but I will buy it once I have money. So he's going on a digi tour is what it's called, which I think is really clever, and yes, the pun that you might think you're picking up on is the actual pun intended, and whew, talking fast and walking is not a thing. So, napkins. He had a link down there for times and information about the digi tour, and you know, upon first seeing it, I thought to myself, come on now. Come on now, who actually ever comes to Pennsylvania for a tour. Nobody ever does. No YouTuber ever comes to Pennsylvania. It is the sad but tragic, or sad and tragic truth of the state I live in. So I thought to myself, you know, I'll just scroll down and see where he's playing, and if he's playing near me, like, maybe I can just make a day trip and make my way up there. It might be fun. So I'm scrolling down and I see one at New York, and I was kind of speculating about that, and I was like, nah, because you can only buy tickets, not a package, and I was like, too far, not enough people that I know. It'd be nice, but nah. So I'm just looking, and I see something below it, The Note. And The Note is a club in the town that is closest to us called Westchester, and it is a new club, and it is literally only 20 minutes away from me, and not even 20 minutes away, and I am not doing anything that day, which is astounding, because these are all the days I'm doing something for PIT, and these are all the days I'm doing something for Science Olympiad, so I was really happy to see that I am not doing anything on the 24th of March, and that I could go and attend the Notes showing of, and there's going to be a lot of people there, and Michael Buckley is the host. This is what got me the most, I think. As much as I love Nice Peter, and as much as I love watching people from YouTube, which I'm going to have to catch up because I've never heard of any of these other people, I saw Michael Buckley, and I was like, I have to go. Michael Buckley, What the Buck Show, leather link here. He is hilarious, and this is just too fantastic, and I just need to go. It's just a thing that has to happen, and if I don't go, I think I'll cry. And you can, there's 3 different packages, and the one I'll probably get is the not insanely expensive one, depending on stuff. Because the one is $90, and that's, you get the digital package, which is like a CD, collection of all the stuff from the tour, a collectible laminate, I don't know what that means, I guess that's like, oh, it's like a little lanyard thing, that's cute, a poster, a t-shirt, and a meet and greet. A meet and greet, hello. So I was like, wow, if I watch these people and end up liking them and I make a lot of money in my job, maybe I'll just splurge. But probably not. I'll probably end up just getting the ticket, the package, the digital package, the poster, and the t-shirt, which is a lot less money. Half the money. And, actually, more than half the money, so I'll probably end up doing that. Probably. But, like I said, I really want to look at, I just can't believe this. Can you believe this? It's actually in, look, it says so right there. Pennsylvania. I am shocked. I think this is the first time I have ever heard of something so close and so readily available that has to do with anything YouTube at all. Ever. The end. Like, too great. So what happens if I pick on this? Okay, so I was trying to see, it just says and more, because I was looking at all the people. Oh, and Dad, it says all ages. Good, because it's a bar and I was not sure. It says all ages. Whew. So it says Dave Days, don't know him. Destorm, never heard of him. Ricky Ficcarelli, I've heard of him, haven't listened to him. Alex Goot, Asher Monroe, Nice Peter, The Key of Awesome. They all sound really cool. Can't wait to look them up tonight because I don't have much to do. And this is such a thing that's going to happen. I am just too excited for words. And I really don't know what else to say. I have to get rid of that. I made a fake order to see what it would do. And you get a shirt, and I just need this to be a thing that happens. And I'm too excited to talk about the sadness of The Fault in Our Stars right now, and it will contain spoilers, and that's about the only thing I'm going to talk about later tonight. So if you don't want to hear me talk about The Fault in Our Stars because you haven't finished it, stop now. I'll even give you a wink good night. See? Okay? But seriously, I'm about to give you super spoilers. You have been warned. This contains spoilers for The Fault in Our Stars. You cannot blame me. And I'll talk about that later after dinner and stuff because my mom just got home. Okay, so I said I would talk about and give my personal review of John Green's The Fault in Our Stars. So I'm going to do that now. First of all, let me tell you how I came about this book, because it's not really an interesting story, but it's something that I feel like I don't want to sound Fake. Okay. So I never watched Vlogbrothers before because the first video I ever watched I didn't like, so I just never watched any more and watched other people instead. And I just never went back and watched any others. And so I was talking to my friend from school, Cassie, and she told me about this book, and I'd heard about it so many times on the internet, on the tumbles, and I was like, who wrote that? What is it all about? And just what is it in general? And she said, well, do you watch Vlogbrothers? And I said no, and she told me to go watch, and so I said, okay, I'll give them another try. So I went back that night, and I watched like 30 videos, and I really enjoyed all of them. And I guess I had just watched a video that I hadn't enjoyed once, and that kind of turned me off, but now I watch them pretty regularly. They're on tour right now, so they haven't had any new videos, but I watch a lot of their collabs and stuff like that. So she read the book the first day she got it, and she has a signed copy. Not a Hanklerfish or anything, but still a signed copy, still really cool. And she finished it like as soon as she got it, and she had it in school with her, I think, and she was talking to me about it. I said, oh, that's really cool that it's a signed copy, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, do you want to read it? So I was like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll read it. I'll see if I like it. And then this was before I started watching them because this all happened in one day. And then I started watching them. I was like, oh, I really want to read it. And then as I started reading it, this book is incredible. And you'll know that if you read it or if you have read it, that it's just such an incredible book. And now is not the right time for me to have the hiccups, but I've got them anyway. And I mean, okay, here's where the spoilers start. So if you haven't turned it off yet and you don't want to hear spoilers, warning you now. Hazel, the character Hazel, is so showing of the human emotions, and Augustus Waters is also very showing of the human emotions, but I feel like Augustus almost represents like the kind of face we put on and maybe our deeper thoughts about life, and kind of the weird mixture of both. We care about the philosophies of life, but we put on this act almost to try to make our mark on the world, and a lot of us, I think, are concerned about that, and this whole YouTube generation is concerned about leaving something of ourselves behind and leaving something to be remembered by, and he just totally embodies the whole generation. And then Hazel embodies the fact that sometimes we just can't leave a mark, no matter how hard we try. And some people will be remembered and some won't. And eventually, we're all to turn to dust. I mean, it's inevitable. Like, nothing's gonna last forever. And we're only gonna last for as long as we're on this earth. And this book represented that so, so well. And I was actually kind of shocked when I read, just continuously shocked. That's the only word I have for it. At John Green's level of depth and philosophy and his connection to the teenage mind when he's, I think, 30 or so. And it just surprised me, and it amazed me, and it made me really connect with the book. And I mean, it really is a fantastic book, and I sent him a message after I finished reading it, telling him what had happened to me. I kind of dragged out reading the book over a couple days so that I could savor it and not just finish it all in one night, and really take it in. And so I read like a couple chapters each night, and over the course of 4 nights, I got pretty far in it. And last night, I had gotten almost, or all the way, I think all the way to the big turning point of the story when Augustus, spoilers, when Augustus says that he's gone into remission, and I just wanted to lay there and sob. And the most touching line that still stands out for me, or 2 of them actually still stand out for me. And the first one is from earlier in the book, and he says, pain demands to be felt. I love that line because it's so true. And things just demand to be felt, don't they? The universe demands to be observed and recognized, and when you don't, that's when you don't live a full life. And that's Hazel's whole philosophy. So anyway, the line from last night when I was reading that really stuck out and just stuck with me the whole time and like haunted my dreams, and my whole day I just kept thinking about it, was how I imagined a real person saying this. It was right after Augustus and Hazel got together, and he's sitting on a chair in the hotel room, and she walks over, and I can just picture somebody like so sad and so like unsure of what they're about to say, and he says, "Hazel Grace, I lit up like a Christmas tree." And you just know he's talking about his body and the cancer and how it's all over him, and he, number one, still makes a joke out of it, which is so typical of the character that is portrayed and so blatantly human and amazing. And then there's this like heart-wrenching sadness of him having to accept his own death. And I mean, throughout the whole story, he fights the cancer, sure, but I mean, the whole time, you just have this huge, heavy, concrete acknowledgement that he's going to die, and there's nothing that he can do about it. And it's so, so sad, and it's so tragic, and it's so, like, hopelessly depressing, really. And that's about where I stopped last night. And then I said to myself, you know, I want to just sit on the couch and finish this, and I know I'm gonna cry, and I know I'm gonna laugh. Maybe I didn't know I was gonna laugh until I did. And so I just sat on the couch for an hour and finished this book, and oh my goodness, this completely human realization at such an early age that no matter what you can do, you're going to die, even whether it's within months or within years or within tens of years. Not going to say hundreds, but you don't know when it's going to happen, and you don't have control over it. Sometimes you can fight it, but only for so long. And he really accepts that in this book, and it's so deep and emotionally, like, profound. And John Green really does a really fantastic job of embodying that and making that really pounce on the reader. And what I sent him a message saying was, number one, that I had dragged out my reading of the book to savor it, and then I just plopped down on the couch knowing that I was going to cry, and going into it and like being ready to accept all the philosophies he was given. And I knew how it was going to end, sort of. The last bit was a really nice tidbit that I thought he added on, was those final words of Augustus. I thought that really ended the story well, in the letters that he sent to Van Houten for the for Hazel to eventually read. And I told John Green in my little message that I sent through YouTube, I just said, like, what did I say? What was I about to say? Oh yeah, I said, you literally made me sob with tears like streaking down my face as I read one page. And when I got to the next page, I was laughing so hard, I actually had to close my eyes because I was laughing so hard I was crying again. And then when I finally got through that, the very next page, I was crying all over again. Very next page, I was laughing, and I'm not kidding you. I will find the page right now. I'll cut out the time it takes me to find it, I promise. So I just found it. It took me a couple minutes, and the part where they're talking, or Hazel goes over to Isaac's house after Augustus is dead, and she and him play the video game with the computer, translating Isaac's commands so he can play even though he's blind. And it's the part where they're giving the computer commands, like, to do things to the cave wall, and it cracked me up to the point of tears. And it was right after Hazel's dad had like hugged her and tried to explain to her how sad he was about Augustus' death. So I was sobbing, and then I was laughing, and then literally right afterward they start talking about how Augustus must have felt when he died. And it just made me so sad again. And and then Van Houten climbs to the back of Hazel's car and she screams and yells at him, and it is hilarious again. And the whole thing is just this wash of emotion. And I realized when I turned off my flip cam, I've been recording for about 10 minutes now, and nobody probably wants to listen to me for this long unless they want to hear what people have to say about The Fault in Our Stars. So I'm going to stop, but there's so many things I could say about this novel, and it's really touching, and it's really beautiful. I don't know where anybody is. Side story, I don't know how comfortable she would be for me telling you this. My mom had cancer when I was younger, when I was in like 4th through 6th grade. She beat it by the time I was in like 7th grade. And there was a lot of sadness during that time for her, but me being the age I was, I never really knew what she was up against. And when they found out that she had cancer, breast cancer, she was in like stage 3, and there's 5 stages of cancer. And not only are they lucky to have found out early on, she is so lucky to have beaten that. And I just thank my lucky stars every day. And at the time, I just had no idea what we were all up against. And it wasn't just her, we were all up against it. And so I never think of myself as somebody who has a connection to people who have cancer. But I am so grateful that the connection doesn't go any deeper than my mom beating the crap out of it. And she did. She kicked chemo in the butt. Took it so well. Everything. 2 or 3 surgeries. And I've still got a mom. So this book also meant a lot to me in that respect. Just hearing about other cancer stories and like realizing, you know, the fatality rates are nothing like I had ever imagined. Because like I said, after she had beaten the cancer, I didn't care so much anymore, and that's when I would have been able to learn about it, was in 7th and 8th grade. And it just never made such an impact on me, and then this kind of drove it home a little bit. So, that's all I have to say about that. Spoilers over, and I think I'm going to probably go to bed early. It's 9:30. I could use some sleep, so I'll do that. And I hope you all have a really wonderful day. And, that's about all I've got to say. So, I will talk to you later. Good night.